Hamzamo family, you're welcome to the Rhythm Scoop Show right here on the Black Hot Fan Network, being on a wonderful Friday, the second day of July, the year 2021. I do hope that you are doing well, and I want to welcome each and every one of us to yet another interesting broadcast where we get to discuss different matters affecting the 254 and also affecting us as a continent. And of course, this is yet another wonderful time where we also want to invite you to check out our official app, which is available on Play Store. You can head over to your Google app, Play Store, and search for our Black Hot Fan Network app. We also do have an interactive platforms on our social media. We are on Twitter, Black Hot Fan Network. We are also on Instagram, Black Hot Fan Network, and also on our Facebook, Black Hot Fan Network radio station. You can also find us on LinkedIn. We are also active on that. You can also find us on Blogger, which is blackhotfannetwork.blogspot.com. And you can also find us on Patreon, on Spreaker, on BitChute as well. We are on all these different platforms, and we aspire to keep on connecting more with you, and also getting to inspire a collective African consciousness, and also inspire our people towards the awakening. My name is Fights, alongside my co-host Joby.
Karibuni sana to the Rhythm Scoop Show. Of course, it's another episode, or rather, another episode here where we get to discuss matters of entertainment, and of course, matters that are affecting us as an African continent, and also the other, the other continent of the world, the whole world in general. Karibuni sana. We hope that you enjoy the show, and of course, we have an amazing show lined up for you.
And now, of course, talking about what is happening on the African continent. Time and again, we have talked about Ethiopia. We do have the region known as Tigray. In Tigray, there has been a fighting for a very long time, and this has actually been led by the TPLF, which is the Tigray People's Liberation Front. And the agenda really in this particular fight is sort of to secede from Ethiopia and become their own autonomous region. And in the last few months, I think about almost a year, there has been a fighting between the Tigray forces and also the government forces. There was an attack which was said to have been conducted by a TPLF unit against the government forces, and that did lead to the escalation of matters in Ethiopia. But right now there is some sort of sobriety. Matters are really sort of slowly coming to go back to normalcy. And there has been the season of the Tigray, or the Mekelle, which is a regional center, the regional hub in Tigray. It has actually now been taken over again by the TPLF, according to our sources and reports that have been given out. And right now there is said to be some sort of hope, or for the people of Tigray, because in the fighting, people are not able to go back and do farming. In the fighting, people are not able to go back and carry on with their education. So many things have been interrupted in that area because of the fighting between the government forces and the TPLF. And at the end of the day, I do believe it's a citizen that gets to get affected. The government has also been blamed. When their forces went in to fight the TPLF, the government forces have been said to have treated people very badly, even assaulting women in this region, which is known as a Tigray. But nonetheless, we do hope that you are doing well, and we shall be discussing matters that are taking place on the East African continent, in the Horn of Africa, Somalia as well, and we shall also be taking you to other places where different things are taking place, and how they get to impact as a people right here on the continent of Africa. For now, we get back to the music, and when we come back, we shall be discussing more matters of what is taking place in other parts. We shall be telling you what is happening in Zambia as well.
Exclusive for Zambian ZambianTunes.com.
Welcome back to the Rhythm Scoop Show right here on the Black Otra Network. That was a little bit of some Paul Rudd. And of course, the name of the song is Halima, a very, very wonderful love song, if you do ask me, because at the end of the day, you know, we have to keep on giving a quick shout out to the ladies and also getting to, you know, appreciate them with that particular kind of music. And nonetheless, we are here to get to know what is happening on the African continent. Right now, the people of Uganda are in a very, very difficult situation because there has been the imposing of tax on the internet packages. If you are trying to buy yourself an internet bundle, you have now to dig deeper into your pocket. If you are actually doing that from Uganda, this of course was introduced by the government of Museveni, and he did say that he wants to bring in more money into the budget of the country by actually adding more tax, you know, the levy on the internet packages. And therefore, if you're trying to get maybe like a GB, you have to pay, you know, much more money right now because there is a 12% increase. And this is not just happening in Uganda. Even in Kenya, people have been notified that on different telecommunications they will be adding their charges because the government has also increased this excise duty on those particular packages. I don't know what your thoughts are on these, Joby.
I think it's really crazy because it's just the other day that we were discussing whereby, you know, Africa, we should you know, improve on our internet, or rather, you know, ask for help. I don't know, we were talking about asking for help from the diaspora, you know, improving on our internet. We did discuss on something on that, and it's really crazy whereby the African continent knows that young youths, or rather people, do not have jobs right now. Due to the pandemic, a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are going through crisis, and I do believe working from home, a lot of people are also using internet. So when you increase the taxes on people buying the data, it's really crazy. Like, it's like you're, you know, you're torturing people. You're torturing people. You claiming that you want to increase the economy. Instead, you're earning the benefits. Then they are they're just going on a loss. There's no benefit that is going on them, because it is really crazy. It's really crazy. We should, as a continent, as the government actually should do something about it. Instead of increasing taxes, they should reduce the taxes. So Museveni, for me, is really not doing great. And of course, also on the Kenyan data, we know it has been expensive since way back. But on the Ugandan people, we know that actually the internet, when you go to Uganda, your line has a poor internet, like poor connection.
I think there's some companies that do provide a good internet. We do have Maria Mpenzi from Uganda, who is one of us on the Black Fan network, and sometimes I think our connectivity is good. Some other time there is a hit with that. But I do believe one of the biggest challenges with this is that the people who do conduct online businesses, because young people are trying to get themselves empowered and are employed, of course, are using the internet. For those that are trying to conduct some online businesses, this might be particularly difficult for them, because even the customers right now, maybe perhaps you're conducting your business online through the internet, and also you're using social media to push the business. But right now, people might find it difficult to buy the bundles to go on YouTube, to buy the bundles to go on Instagram, or to buy the bundles to go on Facebook and Twitter. I do believe this is a retrogressive kind of a move. But the government has imposed the tax, now approved by Parliament, because the country has a debt of 18.4 billion at the end of 2020, and a rise of 30% on the figure in the end of 2019. Uganda is already believed to be one of the most expensive countries in Africa for data rates, but cable.co.uk failed to provide in its annual survey the prices published last December because of lack of information. The data tax follows the failure of an attempt to raise a tax on over-the-top OTT applications, including WhatsApp and Twitter, introduced in 2018. They had actually suggested that they impose taxes on Twitter and WhatsApp, but right now they have said they will just be imposing taxes on the buy and general data, and that will be a little bit difficult for the individuals, like you said, trying to get themselves employed. You're trying to get a small hustle that you can get to conduct on social media or even on the internet. But right now it's a little bit much difficult. This is actually started yesterday. The Ugandans did start yesterday at July 1st to paying the daily social media tax over shillings 200. The tax, so this was a little bit from earlier, but yes, yesterday, July 1st, 2021, they have now started imposing that particular tax. And I do believe, when the companies that charge these taxes, they transfer the cost to the consumer. So at the end of the day, the consumer will bear the heavy burden of these taxes that have been put on them. And like you said, this is a retrogressive move. Other countries are trying to make sure that the internet cost comes down, but for Museveni, it seems like they have run out of ideas for places in the economy where they can net more taxes from. I do believe even if you were to go into Uganda, you will find also a lot of inequality between the rich and the poor, just like in most African countries. You do find that, for example, there are a couple of maybe hundreds of millionaires, and then the rest of the population is living in poverty. The same thing, even with the nation of the land of the free, which is the USA. They have talked about having 700 billionaires and a couple of hundreds of millionaires, but everyone else is not really at that particular point. So that is what is happening, and I do believe that this move maybe perhaps should also, the people should go back in Parliament and try to fight this particular one, because they shouldn't have allowed for this to go on. And I do believe it's going to oppress people financially at the end of the day, because it's a financial burden that people have to bear. These days, like, people have become accustomed to the internet, and many people rely on the internet for communication.
In terms of businesses, actually, even because since the pandemic, a lot of people, I do believe, they lost their jobs, and others did venture into online businesses. So you'll find someone who's promoting his or her business through online services. So, and if the data is expensive, it's even hard for you to manage your own business. It's hard for you to communicate with your own customers, or even reach them, or even for you to advertise your own products. So the government should really do something about that.
Yeah, I do agree that is something that should actually be focused on right now. But nonetheless, moving away from that, I also wanted to highlight a matter that is taking place, and this has to do with the space travel and space tourism. We know that last year there was a hit on tourism on Earth, and not many people were able to go from one country to another because of the problem of the closing down of boundaries. But right now there is a new rush for people to go into space, and the rush is between three different moguls. These are billionaires. Number one is Richard Branson, who has decided that he has set the date as July 11th, when him and his team of astronauts will actually be going to space. The second rich individual is Jeff Bezos, the CEO and the founder of this is Amazon. Of course, we know Richard Branson. Richard Branson is now wants to beat Amazon to this particular space flight. And we do have the third individual who is a founder of Tesla, who is, what do we call this guy from? Elon Musk. That is a guy, the third billionaire, who is also on a race to try and get to space. But of course, he has said that he will be a passenger in the back of the Unity rocket plane. His Virgin Galactic company has been developing in the US for the better part of 2 decades. The vehicle can climb to an altitude of 90 kilometers, giving those on board a few minutes of weightlessness and a view of the curvature of the Earth. Sir Richard Branson's intention is to introduce a commercial space flight service. Some 600 individuals have already logged deposits to take the ride. So the witnessing of the British entrepreneur do it means those customers are now getting extremely close to having to hand over full price ticket, which in some cases will be about 250,000 to make these space flights. Yeah, there are people who have a $250,000 to be able to take this particular flight, and well and good for them. Elon Musk is also another individual with his company trying to go on and also, you know, fix his debt to be able to go on to be able also to go on to space as well from Tesla.
I wanted to ask, do they set, like, you know, when they want to go there, do they set like you know, when the rocket is taking off, do they set the time, like the period of time it's going to land?
They do all the calculations. They do most of the calculations.
So does it take like a day or days?
I'm not sure how long it goes, but for him, he was saying that when he gets back, when he actually gets back, they will be making some major announcements. And for him, for now, Elon Musk, we also do have Elon Musk, who's also on the same kind of a race. For Elon Musk, his company is SpaceX, and SpaceX also intends to start, you know, space tourism. And SpaceX, of course, was seconds away from launching its 20th mission this year on Tuesday, when the countdown was halted due to an aircraft entering the launch range. Elon Musk took to Twitter to voice his frustration about the delay, reiterating a prior criticism he has made about regulations around the business of launching rockets. There is simply no way that humanity can become a spacefaring civilization without major regulatory reform. The current regulatory reform is broken. This is what he said on his Twitter. On Tuesday, he said that there was one of the rockets that he was SpaceX was launching, but there was another plane, an aircraft entering the launch range, so they were not able to do that. But yes, we have seen really SpaceX trying to broadcast some of the Transporter 2 mission. And apart from SpaceX by Elon Musk of Tesla, we also do have Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is also another individual. This was the launching. We will be retweeting these on our Twitter, so that if anyone really would just like to check what was going on with that, you can still find it there. Which has had about there's a lot of viewers, about 1.4 million viewers.
Documentary, like, what do they even go to do there? Like, generally, you know,
it's like NASA. NASA people go to do, and you know, I do believe some of the time is going to set up what do you call them? The like maybe set up an international space mission, like for example that was being done by NASA. But that was yesterday. We did have a SpaceX.
I hear that these people do not come back.
They do. They do. I understand. I'm not an expert in these the things that they are doing with the astronauts work. But I can tell you that for a fact that they do get to come back. But that was Elon Musk. We also do have Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos also wants to take this particular flight. It's like a competition between the three of them. These are billionaires. And Richard Branson aims to beat Jeff Bezos into space. For Jeff Bezos also does his own company that he is working towards, and it's known as the Blue Origin for the Amazon CEO, which the Amazon founder, which is the Blue Origin. For Richard Branson, for Elon Musk, it's a SpaceX. For Richard Branson, he is also putting the work to make sure that he also is able to beat both of them. His company is known as Virgin Galactic, and that is a little bit of what is happening with that. But nonetheless, we shall take a short music break, and when we come back, we shall be telling you on what is happening in other different parts. In Africa, there was an attempt in Africa to have a space mission in Africa. But I am always very, very much ashamed of what did happen with Zambia, because the government of Zambia was said to have been putting together a team of astronauts. And I have heard many stories about Africa, but this one is really, really depressing. I have heard many stories about Africa, but the story about the space and the astronauts in Zambia is really not something to look forward to. But nonetheless, we shall take a short music break. When we come back, I might try to share with you that particular story. You might as well get depressed on a Friday. But this is some music, and this is done by the one and only. He goes by the name Parkseed Banks. The name of the song is Follow Me. Radio, media of the 21st century.
Some mogi ya pao. Stakira deza mapai, nina madema kwa shash. Tuliza babawe, manzi ya kwa haini na fuck. Venye niko kwenye club na jaba konyagi maflash. Misika furika mezani, mili na mogi ya pao. Stakira deza mapai, nina madema kwa shash. Tuliza babawe, manzi ya kwa haini na fuck. Young nigga banging some more ladies and I'm a penny they sleeping. Yeah, I want me get at the gas, the bounce like my drop be booming. Yeah, me in the ghetto I'm moving. Me singers think I'm a cool kid. Yeah, I saw the niggas be tripping, all of them bitches they hide some cookies. Yeah, if they want to go your rock, you go now money, what tell you my baby. Yeah, wanna do but to my moshi, my jimmy nyanya kawa kosa go.
Number 9, yo. They're living life of blame. Their life is just a chance. Now what they want me fame. Kwa game wasake train. Kuja. Wacha kugopa na nini. Kuja. Mbona unahema na nini. Kuja. Na kuonyesha mimi na nini. Kuja. Wacha kupenda na nini. Kuja. Wacha kugopa na nini. Kuja. Mbona unahema na nini. Kuja. Na kuonyesha mimi na nini. Kuja. Wacha kupenda na nini. Nothing was there kwa game. Shantaki kuja tu hapa kwa game. Awa marapa ni same. Daily riba ilikuwa ni shame. Nothing was popping. People were forging. Kanyali baki alone. Shanti kukama. Fans kwa toka. Sai wanabonga zao. Misi yogobi. Kauna bogi. Tafuta lurini kupe manoti. Misi mchaji na kwa bajaji. Wana kutoka za mbele charre. Tukomboka and we don't play. Kauna pesa kakombe. Wezini yeka kwa kompe. Kanero bado mido top. Itabidi muogope. Tu hapa na kuja kisombe. Na kupatiki kabombe. Kose kwa gizoni on. Harakisha na utabadilisha. Ebu pita hapa ndo uende. Vile unatanga Tujajipanga kitangata hizo mapembe. Chunga venye unakuja. Mbena miwanga na chunga.
And that is some wonderful vibes right there by Shanti Flames. And in case you are wondering what time it is, the name of the song is Kuja. And she is actually spitting bars after bars after bars, representing for number 9 Kibera. And we are back with the Rhythm Scoop Show on the Blackout Fan Network. And of course, our topic for today and our main focus is a country known as Swaziland, or you can also call it Eswatini. There has been some violent crashes in this particular country because people are demanding that the president or the king, he is known as Swati 3, gets to step down. But even with this particular revolution that is coming up in Swaziland, there is also some casualties that have been reported. There has been the killing, the shooting of protesters in the streets, which is something that needs really to be checked and looked into. We have also had, other different countries where we have, seen the government responding in the same kind of a way, shooting and killing protesters. For example, in Uganda, when there was the elections coming up in last year, when we did have Museveni against Bobby Wine, there was some protesters that took to the streets, and some of them did lose their lives. Others were just innocent bystanders who were not really involved with the whole movement. But this is also something that is going on. There has been a weeks-long protest that did start, I do believe, in on Monday evening, and there was some rumors saying that the president or the king, Swati, had actually ran away from the country, or really, ran away from the country. But these news were really not confirmed. This is the only monarchy that we do have on the continent of Africa that is still run by a king. We do not have any other African country that is like Swaziland. But the country has been led by the same guy since he was 18 years. And he has been running the country for about 31 years. He has been running the country since 1986. Not 31 really, it's about 35 years. He has been running this particular country for about 35 years. And what King Swati is known for is marrying every other year. He has 15 wives. He has 15 wives and 23 children. And there is the time where we do have the Reeds Festival, and during the Reeds Festival, girls from the village come up and they present themselves, they queue up, and then the king gets to choose a woman, a new wife, during that particular year. And there was a time when he did get to choose a 16-year-old girl who was to become the wife. And we have known of some of the wives. One of the wives did get into commit suicide because I do believe he was not treating these women well. Another one has died in the 12th wife also did get to die in a hospital. And there is a way in which this leader has run his country, talking about, oh, we are peaceful, we shall be discussing with dialogue, we shall be sorting out matters with dialogue. But right now we have seen dialogue is not taking its course. People are tired of waiting for dialogue, and they want to go into the streets and also protest. Some of the businesses run by these, some of the businesses associated to beyond or associated with the king have actually been attacked. Some of them are burned down. And that is why I do believe maybe he's trying he's not even focused about the revolution. I think he's focused on promoting or protecting his own wealth at the end of the day. And that is what is happening with the attacking of these protesters who try to go out there and air or voice their matters, their grievances out in the streets. Number one, they also want to have a country which is has democracy, because for a long time it has been led by the same one. If for this leader in Swati King Swati 3, he gets to appoint his friends as the ministers. He can appoint the ministers, he can appoint the judges, he can also appoint, he appoints people to whatever positions that he wants, and also appoints a prime minister. So this is a candidate he runs. It's like a small kingdom, or a small chiefdom, you might call it, or a thiefdom, because he has been stealing all the resources of this country known as Swaziland.
It's crazy. It's really crazy, you know. Considering, I don't know, we're not living in the 80s or in the 60s century, whereby, you know, the world has really changed. I don't really understand. It's really crazy if someone has really ruled a country for 31 years since he was 18.
More than 31. It's more than 31, yeah.
That is
it's about
crazy
35.
fast. Then,
it's the same thing as Museveni. Museveni has also run the country for over 35
and
years.
And the choosing of wives, I mean, these are young girls who are still underage. A 16-year person is still an underage, especially in Kenya. You will be arrested if you're found marrying, you know, a young underage person. This is really crazy. And,
but for him, he's a law there. He is a law. So where are you taking him to as a
that is really crazy. And I do believe the people have the right to protest. And I did get, you know, bump into the post whereby people are claiming he should, you know, go. He should step down.
Yeah. Step down.
Yeah. It's really crazy. People are really right, and they should. I really support them protesting for him to go down, because there's no you're gonna be taking people's. I do believe even maybe some of the parents of the girls, they have no say to it. Whereby, you know, your child is chosen to be.
Some of them, I think some of them do think that it's an honor. Some parents really tell their kids to go and line up themselves.
It is not.
That is how they do it.
There is a person who has like over 15 wives. You don't even know what. I mean, there are diseases outside here.
There are many diseases.
You don't know.
That might be setting up for
that. This is really
but
crazy.
The latest reports, according to the latest reports, are said as 19 people may have reportedly been shot. Dead, allegedly the military during the pro-democracy protest in Swaziland, Eswatini. The Communist Party of Swaziland has said the 5 people have been certified dead at the Mbambane government hospital in Swazi's capital. It's added that 15 more people are admitted to the hospital with gunshot wounds, and that is a kind of response that the government is giving shooting these individuals for no particular reason. And this is them tired of the same old kind of rulership, and the leader who has not been doing anything for the people but just continuing to oppress them. They do have a constitution, but they also do have customary laws which also get to govern how things are taken care of in terms of the law, the law of the country.
It relates to the Somali story whereby, you know, a president is being chosen by the clan members. And you know, the
clan members are even good because there are many. This one is Nimoja. He just picks and says, "This is my friend. Just put him as a minister for finance."
Oh my goodness, that is so corruptive. Like that is a lot of corruption going on there.
So for him, most of the friends cannot even be. You know, if you give someone a role and they are your friend, he cannot really be held accountable by the public, because it's not the public that put him there. It's just an individual that decided to put him there, and that is what has been happening with the situation in Swaziland, which is also known as Eswatini. If you look at the map of South Africa, you will find a small dot, and that is Swaziland. You'll also find Lesotho, which are two small countries in this continent, in the southern part of this continent, which is in southern part of Africa. But nonetheless, we do have a much more news and updates coming around from the Rhythm Scoop Show on the Black Hot Fan Network. We shall also be updating you on what is happening with situations to do with medical use of cannabis, and why it is being allowed in some African countries. We shall also be letting you know which are some of these countries where it is being allowed, and of course what steps are being taken to make sure that there is profitable business coming in from the sale or the growth of these cannabis for medical use once we get back after this short music break. And of course, the name of the next jam is of course by the one and only It's known as a chase. It's known as a chase by Young Boy right here on the Black Hot Fire Network Media for the 21st century.
Yeah. Najitajipa someday ataka tunaga backup na support na underground atabaki kwa underground industry imekuwa Iscariot hata ni try kwa butterfly na go back to zero boy bado ni maggot niko na record moja kali but still bado niko underground ka carrot na presenter na day don't wani buko yo interview why still bado si go hard tungekuwa na wings to the fly tryna put work on God knows when you see you try nobody really true I don't know why people lie street imefanya hata kwa cold kushinda weather ya night na snaka president jua kaje to free for long move solo no cost I no deal I'm just a kid taking care of another kid my younger sister na yo kitu ni kill nimesave shit most ni shake for days bila meal na nilianza kutrust the process to realize hakuna msele damn so lazima unijue ndo nipe chance ama just fiki bei yako na mainstream snaga ma fans na kuaga na dream na vision ndio venye stu snaga fans wali forget about talent say kujuana ndo most na since niko na less fans yo present attires ni host but no life in a day watafika yangu cost na kuna MC everyday nikatishe maji kwanza nikaye kuaga coast real life been alone since I was 7 my own daddy disowned ass mama left for heaven offloading a lolly truck was my first hustle I was just turning 11 na life imekuwa hash for long kakape I'm 7 but najueta jipa I'm tryna go for weeks jengo jaka keeper hopefully hard work italipa na siwezi forget my story nilikuwa na rock trauma moja fulani for months na blue sleepers hey 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 yeah 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 says choka na ichess says choka na ichess yes says choka na ichess
And I do hope that even for this particular month you are actually on your grind and you are hustling very, very hard at the end of the day to make sure that your goals are actually being met. This is the Rhythm Scoop Show right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Remember, you can check us out on our official website, which is www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. And once you are, of course, on there, you can also create your own profile. You can also find us on our social media, which is a Black Hot Fire Network on Instagram, Black Hot Fire Network on Twitter, and a Black Hot Fire Network radio station on Facebook, as well as on LinkedIn. We are vibing. We are playing you some wonderful, wonderful music. The name of the song was Hustle by Triple K right there, and it's really, really jamming. We were discussing about the matter of marijuana, and we have realized that marijuana presents another viable source of income to fill up the government budget in different African countries. And right now, as it is, Rwanda has reportedly passed a new order that legalizes medical use of cannabis, also known as marijuana, as the country moves closer to mass production and export of the multi-billion-dollar cash crops. I think Rwanda is following in the footsteps of Uganda, because Uganda also did the same. They do get to grow medical marijuana and export it to Canada. I do believe they also export it to other different countries in both Europe and of course North America. But I do believe this presents a good opportunity, only that now the farmers do not really get to benefit a lot. It's just a few individuals who get to benefit from these making of the mass production and export of marijuana for medical use. The consumption of marijuana products and for recreational purposes however, remains illegal in Rwanda. You can only just go around, but if it's for medical purposes, the government is trying to set up structures to make sure that it's being done. Malawi's Cannabis Regulatory Authority is also calling for the creation of structured markets for cannabis growers in that country. The board is calling for universities and research institutes to start working on a local variety to see how effective it could be, since it would be in the same family of medical hemp. In South Africa, the use, possession and cultivation of marijuana is decriminalized. Nigeria is also considering legalization of marijuana.
Kenya should too.
I don't know if Kenya will.
Kenya should too, because if, I think marijuana is a naturally grown herb. It's a natural grown herb. It's not like something that chemicals are being used for it to to be grown in the farm. So yeah. Kenya should also do this. Should also legalize this shit. It should also legalize it in terms of be it medical or however they're gonna use it to whichever purpose, because we've seen so many people being arrested and so many farmers who have actually acres of marijuana being planted in their farmers, and the government claims that they arrest these people, they consume a lot of money from them, but at the end of the day it's on their own benefit. They don't even ban them. I don't believe they even ban them or even dispose them. I'm
not sure how they handle other marijuana, but I do believe that yes, this is a viable opportunity for governments to also look into and make sure that maybe they want to get into it as well. Like I said, Uganda is making a lot of money. Uganda is making lots of money really from the cultivation of these marijuana for medical purposes. These are then later exported into Canada and other different countries. This presents a viable opportunity, if you do ask me, and I do believe many other countries should also be following in the same in the same footsteps. Perhaps also, I do believe also Lesotho. Lesotho is also another country that is has also allowed for the permits for farmers to go and get the permits that they can be able to use to handle or to grow this marijuana. But the farming of marijuana in Lesotho, it's really also very, very much regulated. The government has has its eyes on everyone trying to get involved in that particular business, and therefore it's very, very difficult. But nonetheless, I do hope that people do get to embrace that particular kind of a movement. It might be it might have more benefits than it might have with their demerits in the long run. Instead of increasing taxes and on people's internet, they should look at other ways of bringing in more money into the economy.
Yes.
But nonetheless, we do have some more news and updates coming from Nigeria. In Nigeria, the Biafra leader, Nnamdi Kanu, has been brought back to face trial. Nigeria's Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has said that the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has been arrested and brought back to Nigeria to face trial. Kanu went missing when he failed to appear in court in 2015 and then fled the country in 2017 while on bail. Officials did not disclose where he was apprehended. Maybe he was still in the country or maybe he was outside. But in the late 1960s, in the southern eastern part of Nigeria, there was the secession movement, and the secession movement was also led by one of these individuals known as Nnamdi Kanu. And what did happen is that in that region they felt that they were not represented by the government, and therefore they want to secede from Nigeria. It's just like we have in Kenya sometimes people from the coastal province saying that Pwani is Kenya. But I don't think the government of Kenya would in any day allow for that to happen, because Kenya is the coastal town, so without Mombasa we would not have a port, and of course we very, very much need the port, and also we are one country. But nonetheless, in Nigeria there was also the same kind of a movement. People wanted to secede and become Biafra. If you go to Nigeria, there's no place known as Biafra, but there was that region which of course wanted to be autonomous, and there was some of the army who were part of the government. They now went against the government. They revolted against the government, and they started fighting against the government. Some of them were military officers. They found ways of getting some weapons with the help of those already in the government, and they put up a struggle. But they were met by brutal force by the government in 1967. From 1967, I believe that was about 3 years. From 1967 to 1970, there was a very, very brutal kind of a killing of these people that did decide to go together and try to secede from Nigeria. And of course, one of the individuals was arrested. Right now, he has been brought back to face trial in Nigeria. And I'm not really sure. I have seen other different places. For example, in Cameroon, we do have the Ambazonia. The Ambazonia region is also another place where they want to secede, which is also another southeastern part of southwestern part of Cameroon, where they want to have their own autonomous place. The same has happened with Ethiopia. We have talked about Tigray. Tigray also feels that they are not really properly represented, and therefore they want to secede and just be their own, they're their own nation, just like we do have Djibouti and Eritrea, which I do believe were once part of Ethiopia, which is now what we call Ethiopia. And the government really tries very, very hard to bring the country back together, but you will find lots and lots of casualties, people losing their lives because of these attacks that have taken place and costed people their lives. Regarding the matter of having to rearrest this particular individual, I do believe maybe it's right. It might stop the secession, but that does not stop the problem or the root cause of the problem why people wanted to secede. Because if there wasn't proper government representation, the government should be focusing on resolving that particular matter, so that we can have people feeling that they are really represented in that government, as opposed to saying, "No, we have arrested the individual and we shall be doing this and that, we shall be charging him and really sentencing him to prison."
Does not solve anything.
Yeah, it will not solve the matter. You also need to go look at why did the people want to secede, and what really can be done to make sure that those particular problems are actually being resolved at the end of the day. But nonetheless, we shall take a short music break. When we come back, we shall be letting you know what's going on with Zambia as well, even as we seek to come closer to the end of the show. What's happening in Zambia right now, and how does that influence the political sphere in the south part of Africa? And that is the one and only Baludu the Icon. The name of the song is Ile Design.
I love the vibe.
It's really a good vibe, and it's actually jamming. I also get to enjoy the vibes on that particular one. Earlier on, we were talking about the situation with Nigeria and the secession that did take place in the 1960s, in the late 1960s, and how one of the leaders involved in that secession struggle for Biafra has been re-arrested. I do believe at the end of the day, Nigeria needs to sort out the matters internally, because there is a lot of division in Nigeria. The Igbo, the Fulani, there is all these different. We do have about over 200 different ethnic groups in Nigeria. Whereas in Kenya we do have a 40. No, we don't have 56.
56?
No, they're about 47 or 48 ethnic groups right here in Kenya. But if you go to a place like Nigeria, there are 200. If you go to Ethiopia, there are 81. If you go to Cameroon, you will find about 150. And it's really difficult trying to have people, see to eye on matters to do with politics in those countries, and therefore that is why we do find most of these areas also being politically volatile, and attacks happening from time and again. For example, with the Fulani, the Igbo, the Yoruba, there are so many of them, and it's really difficult. But we do hope the president right there has a role. Muhammad Buhari has a role of really bringing together the people. The same thing even with Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, there are 81 ethnic groups, and it's also difficult to bring all these ethnic groups to see eye to eye on political matters. We do have the Oromo, we do have the Tigrinya. There are so many of them, and that is why we do have all these internal conflicts happening. And some of the leaders get to maximize on these tribalism. You find the leaders are speaking on political rallies, telling this tribe, we are not getting.
That's the problem actually, because tribalism. When you come about tribalism, it's like here in Kenya when politics come about right now. Like you can see, next year we'll be holding politics, or rather we'll be having elections going on. You see that politicians will be going around, making manifestos to the if it's Uhuru will want to sit on the seat again, going to the Kikuyus, telling them this, Ruto going to the Kalenjins, telling them this, Raila going to the Luos, telling this. And tribalism, it brings division of the people. It does not unite Africans. It brings division. And when elections are being run, you'll find that people are fighting. Like you can see it right now in the we were talking about South Africa, right? In the Eswatini, how people are really fighting right now just to eliminate the king who's on the seat right now. So, and also the matters of religion too, because tribalism also comes hand in hand with the religion. You find that Christians are against Muslims, Muslims are against Christians. So let's unite, stop dividing people. You
do find that even in Nigeria, the matter of religion is also very big.
Yeah,
the Islam,
because the number of Islam is really large actually. The number of Christians.
Yeah, in the north, you do find that in the north there is a high population of the Muslims, and then in the south there is a high population of the Christians. The same happens also in Sudan. In Sudan, the north part of Sudan, you will find so many Muslims, and then the southern part is also the Christians, and that is why we also did have the divide between Sudan and Southern Sudan, because Southern Sudan is predominantly is mostly Christian, but if you go to Sudan itself, you will find a lot of the Muslims. That we all are one people, regardless of whatever kind of spiritual inclination that you might do have. And we need to come together in the understanding of us being one particular people. I wanted to highlight a little bit on what is going in Zambia. Zambia, there has been, of course, the cracking down on the protest because these is some protesters who have been, speaking out against the corruption, and also they want to bring their attention to, these particular grievances that they do have. But there has been a crackdown by the police, and the police using a brutal force also to go and calm those particular protests. But I do believe there is no amount of a force that will stop this revolution happening in South Africa. I know that sometimes you will find people being arrested, but there is also some audacious Zambian protesters that have decided to outsmart these particular police and go protest online. I am not sure whether the online protest was successful, but of course they were live streaming their protest from the bush outside Lusaka. I don't know if hiding in the bush and protesting might be felt as much, but the Zambian riot police was deployed all over Lusaka. They were armed and wore the full body armor. The show of the force was then to disperse protest youth planned on Tuesday afternoon, organized in response to several government corruption scandals. The protesters never arrived, but the protest went ahead. They had the idea of live streaming their protest from the bush, and that is how they conducted it. I'm not
I
really
guess
sure.
they are afraid of the shootings. Maybe.
Yeah, of course, that is what has been happening. You know, most of
Yeah.
them have been killed, but their grievances have to be heard, and the message has to get home at the end of the day, regardless of whether it's being done online or regardless of whether it's being done in the streets, in publicly. I do believe at the end of the day, people need also to air out their grievances and also be heard. Because that is very, very much important.
Think that, the government is the issue as much as people do come. When you see people protesting, I do believe there's a message that needs to be passed out.
Yeah, that is
and it's up to the government for you to take notice and just come in front, or rather send your people, your forces in a calm way, in a peaceful
No, the
way.
leaders are afraid of being deposed or being thrown out, and that is why you'll find in Swaziland we are talking about the same problem. In Zambia, we're talking about the same problem. But like you said, at the end of the day, we do hope that these particular matters get to be resolved with dialogue, and also if that does not work, then we are ready to go to the streets and also push for that as well. Nonetheless, this has been the Rhythm Scoop Show on the Black Hot Fire Network. I want to thank everyone for joining us on the show. It has been a delight getting to interact, of course, on our social media platforms. We are on Twitter at Black Hot Fire, and you can also find us through our email, blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com. We hope to hear from you. And of course, for now, we want to say Kwaheri.
Thank you to everyone who's been tuned in, and thank you. Have a lovely weekend.
We are wishing everyone a happy weekend, and of course, make sure you don't drink and drive.
Drink safe.
Right here on the Black Hot Fire.
Oh no no no. Just like you.